Hello and welcome to another gameplay review on the Virkayu gameplay channel. And in this one we are having a look at WARWICK because he has been forgotten a little bit and he isn't thriving as much as he was at certain points in this season. But if you're playing low ELO or gold platinum and you want diamond, the champion still works. Now if you want diamond and you want master tier, well, that's where the extra step is needed and that's where the extra tips are needed, and thus this video. Ivern is of course a very good matchup for us. He was just buffed on the live patch as well. We will have some nerfs to Divine Sundra coming soon, so that might change Warwick's itemization. There is always debate over PTA versus lethal tempo. Excuse me, I almost said lethality, but that would be a very monstrous Q-bite on the, on the champion. Now, in terms of Warwick guides as well as Volibear guides, you know I have my live companion Volibear guide, but I just released a 13,000 word in digitized AI form Warwick version of that. So if you want me live coaching over your shoulder with all those different builds and runes and tips and macro and anything you want from me, jungle coaching and Warwick coaching specifically, that guide will be linked below. Virk WW20, get 20% off for the first week just as a celebration. This is all my thing. It's not really sponsored at all. I drove it. I just wanted to put all my Warwick information in one place, and hopefully you guys can learn it learn everything I know, basically. As we start on the red buff here, you would have seen the runes, one of the standardized rune pages. I do have more specific rune pages that I personally run and recommend, but for the purposes of this game, we do have a straight-up celerity waterwalking variant. Volibear top lane, which is nice, it works out nicely for me. Ivern with the red buff, flash, missed Q into Cassio gank. So that is, yeah, that is fascinating. Now, the reason with Warwick guides and tips about level 1, you know, where you kind of say, well, Virkayu, why do you say, do you want a control ward and one pot? Well, it's because I can put the control ward on this, and I can see the Ivern doing this. And because Warwick is a good matchup, you know, we can chase him down, we can CC him, we can kill him, and of course we can Q to avoid CC. That's great, but if the Ivern's going to try this kind of cheese, then you know what? We'll carry on about our way. 4 camp clear, absolutely standard stuff. Ashe in the bot lane with Ezreal. GP in the meantime kills the Volibear top lane. If you Warwick in this case, you are getting the movement speed buff moving down. We kind of know that Ivern's headed in that direction, but there's nothing we can do because the goal here was 100% 4 camp into top lane gank. And obviously in the Warwick guide, Volibear guides, I have a ganking tier list. Yeah, it will tell you at the beginning which lanes you should gank. So that helps you a little bit here, but obviously Gangplank now doesn't have TP, overstays a little bit, doesn't recognize that the Warwick is in fact a top lane ganker. Could have saved our E a little bit. Obviously, it's a little tough with the... There we go, nice. A little tough with... Hit the minions. Okay. See, that little tip... Just keep hitting the minions, man. So, Warwick mains will know in that particular situation, just keep autoing the low minions, Q whatever you can. Just sustain yourself and then get into the bush to drop aggro. He didn't think he needed as much healing as he did. But obviously with the Gangplank with Flash Up and Orange, it's kind of tough to gank. But obviously we really want to try and survive that so we can float on down to top crab, gank mid lane. We know that he will be over here so we can maybe cover this. But obviously Tiamat is the first back. And yeah, we didn't quite get it, but the pickaxe will do. And obviously in games where you feel like maybe, you know, maybe you get 600 gold, something really bad happens early. You try 3 camp invader and you die. Boots or Ruby Crystal can be fine. Just, you know, I know delays the invariable spike, but having the movement speed and the HP is still very, very good. Okay, and I actually played it, but I wanted to talk about something. You see that he moves on down to ward this, or like bush check as echoes do, right? We go ahead and snack that as we would have seen, but why is the echo hovering? Okay, why is the echo hovering on the bottom side? Well, normally it's because it's warded, and you can see this, so you can kind of keep distance. But at the same time, if it's warded down bot, you know you have room to react, and you can kind of hover the side, because it's dark here. From his perspective, it's dark, so we hover this, which means we'll have lead-up time for us to escape, all right? But it also means that the enemy jungler could be there as well. So you don't exactly know where Ivern is. You know he probably warded and is being safe, and Ivern actually comes from the top side here for that gank, but Warwick is just primed, waiting, nothing else to do. We go for the fear, we have the exhaust. We are able to burn the flash, and the problem with an Ivern is he really just gets in the way, so you just chop what you can. Moving directly down is a bad idea, and this is why I kind of chose this game, because I could have chosen a Rufflestomp game. Could have chosen a game where you didn't have to pay attention. But I wanted to choose a game where Warwick had a little bit of a rough early. You know, we die in a gank, top lane where we didn't really have to, we misplayed a little bit the mid lane gank, and now of course we have our teammate, but we don't have the same kind of farming catch-up as other junglers do. Now again, Ivern's also overcommitting here. This will happen a lot. You just have to make sure you're not tunnel visioning on bot lane or tunnel visioning on Krugs. You see him overcommitted here, just go for it, get the kill. It's free for you, okay? Don't go here or here and then go, oh, well, why are you feeding Ivan? Get yourself involved, and that's the biggest thing with Warwick. Use that W passive, max that first, get around the map, rotate to those scenarios. But what happens when you find yourself in these situations? Make sure you're getting at least one crab, you've got to full camp your wolves and grumble the second spawn. The experience gap between the first spawn of those camps isn't as big as we would like to sort of, it isn't as big as it feels with the way I speak about them, but there are more than the Krugs and the Raptors, and you can take them quicker. Plus the gold is always nice as well. Top lane is pushing again, we're level 4 here. I think we should try something, but the problem is, as you would have noticed from the frames, that Volibear is extremely low. So do you even want to go for these ganks? This is horrific decision making overall, but we are Warwick. No, we're not quite Warwick. So not a good decision. Level 6 spike. Remember, the 530 wave. Good for you. The 530 wave here is where you're going to get level 6 if nothing weird happens, if, you know, solo lanes do their business. So in that situation, right, you know that GP's going to hit 6 if you're going in for the gank and he's still 5. You know that Volibear's going to hit 6 very soon as well. The Volibear should have had a bit more synergy with the Warwick. If you both go in at the same time, perhaps you can kill. But again, dying this many times in your early ganks, you don't want to do. Now, obviously, it's a video on the gameplay channel. It means it's a Master Plus high elo game, which means even the Fiesta ones, we have to recover ourselves and end up being able to play to the win conditions. Right. Echo shows from a mid lane roam. Okay. We have you, the GP repeating to lane. Plant hit, we see him going back. We see Ivan show very, very briefly. So I like these weak early games. Now, the views on certain videos always show, well, Virkayu, give us lost early games. Give us comebacks. We don't like the ruffle stumps. Well, I mean, most people watch a ruffle stump. So if you do enjoy comeback stories, please watch all the way through and recommend this to people who don't have good early games in Warwick, because, you know, that's one of the biggest things, right? Lantern Thresh over the wall, hook into the Ezreal, which is pretty good, but they're kind of chunked because it's an Ashe Ezreal. We see low targets. We're level 5. If we had a good early game, we'd be level 6. Can we push this up and tank it? How much grief do you want to sow? We have our fear. Nice Q for the double fear proc. Well played. You see, there we go. And that's the thing. You've got to try and make these aggressive plays, and of course the aggressive plays will have a downside. Can we crash this a little faster, please? That's what we're trying to avoid. Keep autoing, keep autoing, keep autoing, keep autoing. Use your E fear. Nice, keep autoing. That's good. There we go. Juicy, good job. Thank you, Ezreal. Good grief, that took ages to do that, man alive. And now, of course, you can float on down to the dragon. So what looked a little bit grief in terms of, this was kind of obvious, I think. This was unfortunate. And of course, the level 4 versus level 6 GP, lack of respect, but also lack of synergy with the top lane. You can still recover. And in the coaching sessions, all coaching is available on Patreon as well as coaching VODs. You can see a lot of Warwick coaching VODs there as well. This happens quite a lot. People get Warwick coaching specifically, not because they're early game savants and they can't close, although that does happen. It's way more for, well, you know, what happens if the early game isn't pristine, beautiful, and snowbally. Now, obviously, you want to avoid that. We use our Unstoppable to make sure we do that, but he's just going to ghost out potentially, but he doesn't. I think at this point, it's pretty obvious he's dead, and even if he did get out, you know, using the ult there for sustain, CC, and of course damage means you'll chase him down with ease. So, 2 minutes ago, you're probably going, well, this is a shit game, this guy's bad. I'm like, well, no, he's actually one of the better Warwick players you're going to find in high elo, because there's not that many at the moment, and of course he's wearing a pink chroma. I like pink. I like purple. Really, Virkayu, you like purple, yeah. And now he's 5v3, 5-3 and 2. Oh, Gangplank, you scoundrel, diseased piece of, just nerf him. Like, he didn't need the buffs in the first place. Then they buffed him. Now they're like, we need to rework him. No, he just didn't need to buff him. But Ashe, cross map, 3.5 second stun, you know what I mean? Just eaten away with a bloody Nachi, or a, what is that in English? South Africans, help! What's a Nachi in English? A Clementine? I think there you go. So we roam to the top side, obviously, because we have the dragon. Now we want to look for the Rift Herald, which of course my in-game coaching will say, hey, by the way, you want to do the Rift Herald right now? Flash, good respect, Flash. I think here at this point, he's not respecting the Echo Ws, but that was a beautiful Q3 combo to get the double proc fear again. However, of course, you can have a beautiful combo, and the decision to use said combo could have been a bad idea. So we'll acknowledge the mechanical usage of the abilities, and we will criticize the decision to use the mechanical usage of the abilities. Do you follow? Because again, lack of respect, perma fiesta, a lot of fighting. But as I said, it's weird because pro play is going to be absolutely yawn fest because people are just playing not to lose. There's no playing to win. There's no innovation in play style. I would love, I mean, I'm an actually qualified coach for like 14 years, right? I'd love to get my hands on a team, honestly, and hire the experts around me, combined with my knowledge, look for game plans, and really do something interesting. Not picks specifically, but stratagem. But in this particular case with solo queue, excuse me, it's really just perma limit testing. Who can we kill? Who can I out-sustain? And I kind of like that sometimes, but it requires people to rotate. You know what I mean? And Warwick is, of course, the king of said things. Now, we do have 4 points into W here. I have mentioned quite often, when you have good early leads, you do want to rush a Titanic Hydra. It's such a good snowballing item to rush first. Whether you're going Kraken, whether you're going Sunfire, whether you're going Iceborne, it doesn't really matter. Getting that early Titanic can be absolutely huge. Now, this is nice, right? I usually like Red Smite 99 times out of 100, but there is a time and a place for a Blue Smite, and against a heavy range comp that you struggle to stick to and that you get kited, Blue Smite can be good. Good use of it's there, but again, why are we going in on these fights? Just hold the top lane, take that, fall back down to the grub, maybe look for a better play. I think he's fighting a little too much. But bot lane is a lane. And honestly, after 036, you can feel like, all right, I have control, but we're down 100 gold. You know, your bot lane's done a great job thanks to your impact, and you're 6-5 and 2. But now, if you're gonna have a game like this as Warwick, where you die a lot, now ideally we don't die this much, but if you do die this much, right, the rest of the game needs to be significantly more measured. You don't die too much, right? We know we're gonna get our kills. And in this case, we're gonna go, I believe he's going for an Iceborne Gauntlet build, Frostfire build, because obviously it's a difficult team to stick to. Nice Ash ult again, rotate down and to preempt that. Ezreal does fall, unfortunately, but we'll snack that beautifully. Ivern shows up. We do not have ult at this stage, obviously, so we're going to be a little cautious again. Echo moving. I see, I'd be worried about this. There he goes. He shows top lane. Okay. Sorry, that's my bad. I wasn't even paying attention. I'm talking about Warwick too much. I'm not even looking at the map, which is why I don't stream, because if I was to play the game and start speaking to you, I just miss things like that. I start going on rants, I focus on other things, and then I miss information. It's better when I'm playing to hyper-focus so I can see all the stuff. But regardless, Echo top lane, no stress. But if he wasn't top lane, you know, stress. For sure. So, in terms of builds, specifically for Warwick this season, plus all the guides, the guide that I mentioned, I will keep updating builds. Even builds I don't play, which is why I figured let's do a game with a Titanic Frostfire, which is not something I'm personally running or recommending so much, unless it's situationally desired like this game. But this kind of player likes to run it all the time. Obviously, you have Chem Tank versions as well. So we'll just keep flexing out the builds. I think the build diversity is such a good aspect for the champion. But obviously now, we do want plated steel caps this game, but can we kill before the... Queen's applause, as once again we have. Thank you for the Ash arrow there, but now it's down for the dragon fight. But the Vayne being dead is huge. Vayne is a very tough matchup for Warwick to stick to, so the Blue Smite plus the Iceborne, really, really good. GP ult once more, damage that's unbalanced. Crab does not fall to us, but can we do something? We're getting hooked, we're getting CC'd, we're getting slowed, we're using our Eve here, we try and get through to stick to the Thresh, which we do, which means we ditch our backline. So if you're going to be diving their backline, your backline is going to be exposed, and it's not really the best way to play the champion with this build. With this build, you want to be more peel back, rather than diving back a line. If you have a huge lead with a Titanic and no one else is really fed, it will work, but that was definitely more of a Divine Sunderer, Kraken Slayer. I remember the Trinity Force days, but not anymore. You know, then you can dive backline, be an assassino, as we say, but yeah, probably a little bit too narrow visioned on the backline there instead of just kind of peeling back, but you know, sometimes we need a good, close-fashioned, old-fashioned game that isn't straight run away. Now, we have gone for Merc Treads. Okay, so we have the CC component, but for me, if you're going to be fighting the Vayne a lot, and the GP a lot specifically, if you're focusing them in fights, it also does good work against Echo. Plated Steel Caps could be a good option, but obviously, if you hate CC and you want Tenacity, go ahead. But you could run Unflinching plus Tenacity in your runes in this kind of comp, and then you could flex into Conditioning, Plated Steel Caps, but you lose a bit of the utility of the secondary page. I like Domination still, but These are all playstyle options. I'm just kind of listing things and reasons for picking them, and you kind of have to decide what's most valuable to you. But if you're fighting the AD, nice flash, orange. If you're fighting the AD version or champions on their team, and the AP versions are not threats, then the plated steel caps have more value. But obviously, if you're being CC'd a ton, I think with the Thresh Merc Treads, in retrospect, plus the Echo, yeah, perhaps. But we do definitely, I mean, a Frozen Heart plus a Randuin's plus a Thormail, those things do wonders in this game, although I don't really know if we have the item slots for everything I have in mind. Now, Echo over pushing in the mid lane, which means we can collapse, we'll catch this wave, we can sprint this up a little bit. Bot lane over committing, let's hit this tower. Daisy is holding. Hello Daisy, nice to see you. Nice to see Ivan being a champion, although win rate hasn't shifted in that way, so maybe, let me hold that thought. Gangplank ult again. I feel like that thing should be in a 4-minute cooldown, honestly. Let's see if we can burn this tower quickly. I'm worried about Thresh and Vayne collapsing from the side, but man, the Q chump plus a Titanic is beautiful. Very, very nice. And obviously, Volibear has pushed out the bot lane. We have a crab here. Let's snack this. I think if you have 2 smites, you should just smite and take it, because now you don't have your E fear for a potential fight, but let's have a look. Ah, we saw that. Did only I see that, and you guys? Blue team didn't notice. What do we have in the pocket? 1,500? Okay. Okay. We definitely want enough gold to kind of reset and go get it, but we're going to lose the objective for it. That's a slight downside. But I think no stress, no stress, no stress, unless team gets hooked and killed. Nice flash ult from the Cassio. Now she can chase down. Grounded, one of the most broken abilities in the game. They're able to get the Herald. But Warwick shows up. Nice slow. Smite, very good. We fear the Vayne. That's also very good. Keep your auto attacks. Keep your auto attacks. Frostfire is going to do the work. We don't have ult, but we want to try and stick through her with Q. Beautifully done. And you see there, Blue Smite, Frostfire, doing the work. All right, it allows you to stick to targets that you struggle to stick to. Now in this case, obviously she's going to reset here for itemization. I think instead of falling back to this, if he isn't here, push and secure. Push and secure. You know, he's fallen back to his jungle after they killed everyone. Now, we can see here there's no camps obviously available, but in that situation, it's okay. But if no camps are up and you kill everyone, take the camps, push a tower, retreat back down, take this, reset, use a hippity hoppity, take your stuff and start pushing the map, okay? So in this case, it's okay to fall back to your camps because your bot lane can do that, your top lane can do that, there's nothing for you to steal, so it works out. But they have overstayed just a little bit our bot lane, but I think they're sick of Ash's shit. Just what am I watching sometimes? Some games are just so funny. Even Halo, you just watch the mechanics, you're like, goodness gracious me, really. I enjoy though. I think these kinds of games are fun because Warwick thrives in them. He really, really thrives in them. And if we're going to get to late game team fights, which I think we are a little bit, this game's about 30 minutes, so I'll sprint through the dead parts. Team fight focus and target selection is the most important. So, our bot lane is dead, which means we just farm our stuff. A dragon is spawning and there's a herald, a crab up, so we do want to get it, but at the same time, if we don't have numbers, we can't. We get rooted, we fear, we separate. Vayne obviously uses the free button, and instead now we're diving the back line. We have the same issue as we did before. He's diving the back line when he should be peeling, all right? He's diving the back line when he should be paying attention to the fact that Vayne has cleanse. Thank you very much, Brain, for finally remembering what it was called. Obviously, she also has shield bow. You do not have the damage to kill her through an Ivern and a Thresh. So that, again, is a bad decision. Volibear has TP, but once he sees you're dead, he's not going to commit. And this is the issue with tank Warwicks. Now they will complain, Warwick is shit. Can't play Warwick. Useless champion. Useless. No, that's just bad team fighting. Bad targets. You're not going to ISO kill the Vayne with this build. You know, and you're giga squishy too, right? So if you're going to do that and try and kill the Vayne with a Kraken Slayer build, then you really have to understand that you need better access points rather than trying to run through a Thresh and an Ivern. Now, Volibear has Force of Rotation at the very least. He's getting strong here. Trinity Force plus Frozen Heart is very nice to see because you don't often see it on junglers unless it's my build. But with the Titanic Hydra, obviously. Now, again, Echo is overcommitting. He's overstaying. He's going to use his ult and use his passive to sprint away. We don't really have much else. Is he going to go into the Sterax? That will help. Nicely done, nicely done, nicely done. That will help, but this is not really a build I'm that much of a fan of. I don't really like Titanic plus Sterax plus tank item. I feel like you're missing the damage. and your tankiness isn't enough. Does it make sense? Like, you have survivability, you get bonus AD, obviously, and you get to shield, which is nice, but I prefer to kind of commit one way or the other a bit more heavily, because if you go into your tank item, Sunfire, Iceborne, whatever, Frostfire, whatever, plus Titanic plus full tank, you're going to be able to peel. And you can still kill people because they can't kill you, especially with a big lead. If you go into this, you like resistances, and it's a lot of HP for a Vayne. You know what I mean? Not a huge fan, but again, that's why I chose something with a build that isn't in the guide yet. I will adapt to maybe throw a version of it in, but hey, there's different ways to play the champion, there's different ways to play, and everyone has different spikes they enjoy, so let's see how we move on. Right, obviously we want to play around pushing the map now, clearing the vision. There we go. Thresh is a bit of a nightmare for Warwick, so is a W from an Echo. A little bit too much floaty in the river, but there's not much else we can do. Ashe decides to ult. The Ivern gets Lantern out, which is always a big risk. We use that pressure to push in a little bit, clear some vision. Volibear now, good that he didn't take this. Scaling team, you don't want to take this too early. Good that he just took the tower. It means it's a threat if they were to Baron. Echo goes backline, says, I hate Ashe so much. Warwick, fear, peel, good. Good, there you go. Now we're getting it. What do we have, 1700? You know, instead of floating, we could have reset. Especially if Volibear is dead. Like, what are you going to do now? Because he is ult. So, you're at risk of losing a Baron here, but Ashe has the base, Volibear is dead. If you have an itemization spike, go get it. Go get it. And now, obviously, they could look to do it, but they don't know where anyone is. So it's a bit of chicken at the moment. Right. Daisy, now they finally do it, but Volibear will have TP. So Volibear can hold versus GP. Echo's out of position, stay near his ghost. Make sure you can fear him, obviously. They're going to stay on this, they're going to stay on this. Now, can they burn it quickly enough? Let's have a look, let's see what they're doing here. Ooh, it's close, it's close, it's close. Ezreal ult, they're getting low. GP ult zones. Flash ult by the Cassiopeia. We just have to get through. Nice ult there by the Warwick. We could have used a full-on fear combo. That's fine, though. We can hold it if we don't need it, if we just want to kill everyone around the Vayne, and now kill the Vayne. We should have no issue there. That's a good team fight, you see? You make the pick, then you use a numbers advantage, and then you use your ult to make sure you're locking down the target. It doesn't always have to be the prime carry. Just killing the person in front of you is the most important. And from this, we should be able to get Albaron. Thank you. Let's go. GP Tron. I know you get longer stun time with max range Ashe ults, but at the same time, and I know it's up every like half a second, but sometimes I wish they just kind of use it like a human being, a little bit closer range, because you don't always need 3.5 seconds. Having just enough seconds for other CC to layer onto it, that's good, right? That's nice, yeah. Anyway, Hextech Gate, use please when you have map. Yes, okay, because most people don't use it. They go, what is Hextech Gate? And I say it's the thing that allows you to TP, and they go, no. And yeah, it's really weird that people don't use it enough. Although the enemy team can now slice on through here, we do get hooked. Glacial Augment is such an annoying... Can we bring back old Glacial? Man, the new one is like, Jano Tornado hits you, and you're just like, oh, here we go. I'm not moving. So diseased. So, and the Merc Tread's kind of doing the work. I wish we could see on this the reduction of CC in terms of time by buying the boots. You know, that'd be really cool to see on the itemization. It would give people a bit more justification sometimes, and also like pros and cons. Same thing with bladed steel caps, how much damage blocked, things like that. In this case, just kill the target that's in front of you. The condemn, unfortunately, does hurt us. If you were full damage Warwick plus Q at the end with ability haste, dead Thresh. Or Fresh, as we say. And now he's pushing this with Baron, which means we can fall back to Hextech, which is a great one for our team. Let's do that. Nice and safe. Play by the book, especially with the scaling team card. Move into the jungle. Catch the bottom wave. Here we go. Fear, dead, beautiful. They're up here on the top side here. We have a dead Volibear. If they make that commit to your split pusher, which is exactly what you want, you get an objective, you get another objective, and now you retreat. You win. All they get is the kill on your split pusher, who very regularly will have a shitty KDA like 372. Because he has Hellbreak, it's going to take them a little bit longer to kill him, which means you can use that, especially as a Warwick, just to say, right, here's a dragon, here's a W to see where anyone else is. Let's take a tower on the opposite side, and now let's go back to base. We finished our Sterix, and now, of course, we can go into, final 2 items. In this one, I think we have a lot of HP, but HP is really, really good for Titanic. Frozen Heart, I think, would just be nice in general for the Vayne, and then, of course, you can... Could we justify some magic? just for the echo. Do we have to buy magic resist because of the echo? What do you think? I mean, GP as well a little bit. I think you kind of have to, especially if you're going to be fighting them. So that's why I don't like this Sterak's necessarily, because if you just replace that with a Randuin's, or of course a Thornmail, you'd have 2 armor items with your Frozen Heart included, plus a magic resist item, and really you're unkillable at that stage. But there's no exact science with it in terms of itemization on the champion. Hello, are you out of position? Can I fear you to burn an orange? Or are you going to save it for the ult? No, get grounded and suppressed, bitch. In the meantime, obviously, our ADC has died because that's what happens. Ashe is trying her best, uses a stopwatch. Vayne is kiting out. Vayne is kiting out. We do have a little bit of a dead Thresh as well. So this should be an inhib for us. Vayne is out of position. Bottom lane is pushing. They have no TPs, which is fortuitous. We can probably double inhib from this. Exhaust used on the Echo, although I don't know if that's 100% necessary. You do have the Vayne back in base now. 2 inhibs if possible, but if not, don't overstay, please, because bot lane turret did fall. Volibear will be able to catch that, which is nice. Echo's overcommitting here on the side. Actually, not overcommitting. He's committing on the side. Ends up being an overcommit, but yeah, I prefer in a perfect world that no one died there. Blue team left, and Echo was like, oh well, let me take camps and push waves. That's in theory what should have happened, but in return, Echo dies and Ashe dies, because to solo queue, my friends, to solo queue, right. We now have Spirit Visage. Obviously, that's our MR itemization. Bonus healing too, super nice. No shielding this game, but if you do have shielding, obviously, shielding and healing from someone else is really, really good. Grounded into a Fear combo is just exactly what you need. Man, Grounded plus Warwick equals Dead Vayne every time. Thank goodness that they have this on their team. But yeah, in terms of MR, I know it doesn't have the most magic resist anymore, and things like Force of Nature can bait you in. But Warwick's healing passive with this, it's too big. It's just too big. You look at the win rate, you're like, because you get a lot of pseudo resistances, literal resistances from E, but oh, finally a Q flash in this game. But again, now we're backline, way too deep. We're gonna have the Sterak's come through there, another one to reposition. We don't have ult anymore, so we should. Oh, ears up, ears up, ears up. Can we get a heal? We can. Can we order? No. So again, the Q through was great to hold with the flash twice, but you died. You just want to try not to die in these situations, really. So 15-8-8. Baron is up. Team can go ahead and look to do that. Volibear, can Volibear just end if they do this? Alright, Cassidy gets hooked. Ashe is poking, right? They go in, absolutely ult face planted. Volibear's pushing in. Did they really did greed for the, they really did greed for the Baron, and they're gonna lose because of it. And now it's just Vayne. GP is up though, so let's watch the base race here. We've ulted to remove turrets. Here we go, Hellbreaker. Can you kill the bear at this stage? So Warwick goes out on a bit of a fizzle, but he has highest KP along with bot lane. And honestly, a good example of good Warwick things you should work on that he didn't do well. Bad teamfight positioning, but also good pick positioning. And, you know, for the Warwick videos on this channel, if you go search for them, there's a lot of ruffle stumps with perfect positioning, perfect play. This one's a bit pro and con, right? So I thought that would be a nice little different way to look at it. And obviously, if you want the best way to play it, all linked in the guide below. So thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed and learned something. Don't forget to subscribe to the main channel. Check me out on Patreon if you want coaching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And as always, I will see you all in the next tutorial.